Hi, in today's tutorial I'm going to be dealing with these encoders up the top here and how they affect the sounds of the samples and the synths. I'm not going to deal with master, volume and limiter at the moment, I'll save that for later. The first encoder that I'm going to deal with today is the second one along on the top, Note and Microtune. I've already pressed it. The top button over on the left deals with Note and the lower button deals with Microtune. So Note is fairly obvious. I've got a sample that I put in here which is a chord. Now it's being triggered by a C4 note even though it's playing a chord, so it's a sample of a chord. So if I run the sequence and turn that encoder, you'll hear it go up. Okay, and if I don't like that, double click that top button and it's gone back to C4. So that's a pretty obvious one. It changes the note in semitones up or down. If I press this lower button, now Microtune is in focus, play the sequence. If I turn the screen knob, I could turn the note Microtune encoder, but I'll use screen knob so you can see what's going on. Turn it up and you'll hear the pitch rising a little bit. It's going up now. And 100 I think gives you a semitone above the original note. Let's take it back. If I hold shift it will go in bigger increments. Now I've gone below, see the white line has dropped below the middle, it's to the left of the middle and it's going down by a semitone. Bring it back up. And that is Note and Microtune. I'm not going to deal with sample and folder or reverb and delay send because I've already dealt with those in previous videos. So the next one I'm going to do is chance and action. When you use this encoder, what you do can't be saved or printed to the track, as they say. This knob is used to stop things becoming too predictable and boring and involves setting things to happen randomly. So when it's set to chance, if I rotate the screen knob, I could just rotate the chance knob, see? So always means it's always going to happen, obviously, whatever you set in the action, and then you can drop down through the percentages and other things you see here. It will skip a bar and then happen, skip 2 bars and happen, that kind of thing. I'm not going to go into incredible detail in any of these videos because the idea is to get you up and running quickly. So I've got this chord still highlighted, so we might as well just use that. So I'll leave the action on play step and I'll change the chance to 70%. So the chord will play 70% of the time. Let's run the sequence. Didn't play then, played then, didn't play then, didn't play then, didn't play then, played then. So obviously the lower the chance of it happening, obviously it's going to happen less and less. So if I put this to 10%, it may never happen. Wow, finally it happened. But anyway, you get the idea. That's how you set this button, this encoder. Let's try a different action. Let's try a random sample and let's bring the percentage up to 90%. This time you'll have different samples playing. Different one there. See, different samples are playing 90% of the time, which is quite interesting, I guess. What else can we do here? Random note, random octave up. Let's try this one. Chance is something you can use, it's good fun, but you can't save this to the tracks. Tempo and swing. Now let's run the track. Right, now let's make a track solo. Let's go to, I don't know, here. Now track speed is set 1 to 1, which means to say it plays normally. If I change this, now it's running double time, kind of a triplet feel, 4 times, but the others haven't changed. So if you got to have the track selected over here, see? So got a 6th triplet feel, 8s, that's as fast as it'll go. Triplet feel, and all kinds of crazy stuff. So that's half, so it's playing half what it was. So it's the track speed that you're setting there, and the track swing is set at 50%. I'm not sure this will work because I think you need a continuous run of quavers or semi-quavers to hear this, so I won't do that for the moment. But anyway, let's set that back to 1-1, so it's normal. And that is track speed, quite good. Volume is fairly obvious. Don't forget there's 2 ways of doing things. You can either hold the pad down and change the value like this, or you can hold shift and the pad, and then your hands are free to either use the screen knob or the actual control itself. If you want to get rid of that selection, just press shift again. So that's volume. If I press the lower button, then this encoder and the screen knob will deal with panning. It says center, American spelling. I'm in the UK, so I spell center R-E instead of ER, but that's just me being pedantic. So let's just do this again. Let's select this sound. So we'll bring it all the way over to the left. Let's hold shift to make it go quickly. So it's fully in the left, fully in the right, and then we'll bring it back to the centre again. So not rocket science. And of course, if you do this on a track with lots of notes, you can have different panning on different pads. Pretty straightforward. Right, let's go to the next one, which is sample start and sample end. Now, both the settings, the start and the end, show the full length of the sample in milliseconds. Sample start, this is the point where the original sample is heard. Values greater than 0 milliseconds cut the sample off at the beginning, and sample end, values of less than the full amount mean that the sample will not play to its full length, so it will be shorter. Making the start time value higher than the end can result in a reverse sample. You have to experiment with this. So let's run this again, just this keyboard sound, and we'll cut the beginning off, cut the end off, let's see if we can get a reverse, shall we? And there's a very quick reverse on that sample. I'm not quite sure why that reset doesn't work on some things, but the fact is that it doesn't. So that's sample start and end. Overdrive and bit depth is the next one, this one here. So overdrive, fairly obvious, it's going to put a bit of crunch into it, like that. Sometimes that's nice, sometimes it's not so great. Let's change to bit depth. Obviously the lower the bit depth, the grainier it's going to sound. So we get all the way down to 4 bits. So that's quite a nice effect sometimes. That kind of grainy, poor quality lo-fi. But we'll put it back up to 16 bits, which is its full value, full quality if you like. So So it's overdrive and bit depth. Randomize and randomize type is the next one, this one here. Now this one does get printed to the track, but you have to remember to press save once you get something you like. Let's choose another sound, shall we? What about the bass? Let's put the bass on. So we need to select the track for this to work. You can randomize the sample length, the texture, the octave, volume, space, nuke, duke, nuke. These are really wild kind of randomizations. If you're using the synths, these are different. I don't think there's quite so many, no, not quite so many that you can change. So we'll stick with the sample, stick with the bass. So let's go to 1 octave and we'll bring the percentage up. So it's changing the octaves, 2 octaves. Randomizing the volume. Bring that back a bit. And I've got space, which I'm not quite sure what that does. Duke Nukem is pretty wild. If I take that up, pulls different samples out and does all kinds of crazy stuff. Now if you like that, press save and it says randomization applied. Now that's been printed to the track, but if I decide I don't like that, I'll shift, undo, undo randomize, and it's gone back. So that's randomize and randomize type. Right, let's go with track length. This one down here. Now this is quite interesting. Let's go with a different sound, the claps. Let's put this in. So this is the clap track here. Now it's set to 16, so the full 16 semi-quavers are going to play. If I bring that back to 14, this is going to jump around. So those claps come a different time because it's running out of sync. I've lost that last clap, of course, because that was on the end, near the end there. So if I go to 16, if I just redo that, I can't redo that. So if I go back to 14, you see, it's only getting to 14 steps before it starts again. So you can see that red dot is ahead. See, it's out of sync with the main red dots, the red pads, you see. So that makes it endlessly interesting. It's evolving and changing all the while. So track length is a really good way of changing things around. Let's bring that back up to 16 and go to the play mode. Forward is the standard mode. You can have reverse. Look at the pad as it lights, as it goes backwards. See? It's not playing the sample in reverse, it's playing the sequence in reverse. And then you can have just the first step. Go, I'm not quite sure. And all these other ones. You'd have to go through these and try them all out. Loads of them to try. Let's try a different sound for this, shall we? Let's see if this works on the synths. I'll go to this. Now the solo of this, just here is. Like I say, lots of experimentation needed here. So if I put it on Funkster, it's turned my normal straight drum beat into something pretty funky. And if I like that, I could save. I want to lose that, so I'm going to go Shift and Undo. We're back to normal. So, pretty interesting that one. It's got lots of potential. Filter, cutoff and resonance. So this is fairly obvious. I've done a little bit of this I think in a previous video. So filter cutoff, no filter, so let's make that a low pass, and we'll bring the resonance up a bit, see if that changes anything. See, the sound's gone quite muffly there as that low pass kicks in. And then of course we can go reverse, take it to the right of this central line, it goes into high pass. Only lets the higher frequencies through, bring the filter resonance up. Okay, so that's filter cutoff and filter resonance. Sample attack and sample decay. Sample attack, rotating this one is going to fade in the sample, and the decay is going to fade out the sample. Okay, so we'll try fading this one in. See it fading in. Let's fade it out now. Yes, there is a difference there. The fade in was more noticeable then, wasn't it? So fade in and fade out with the sample attack and sample decay. Right, let's go to our drum beat. Now if I hold the screen knob down and I press this pad here, you can hear that this is a hi-hat sound. So I'm going to use the repeat grid on this note. I'm going to just solo this track. Right, so this pad here is in focus, so repeat type, straight, and we'll have 2 hits. Let's make that 3 hits, 4. So it's a good ratchet effect, isn't it? 8. So that's very fast now. I think 3 is quite a good amount. You can make it fade in or raise. Raise is quite a good one. And then you've got all different other types: broken, fixed, tank, alien, or off, of course. And then you can have 4 hits, 8 hits, all kinds of crazy stuff. You know, you have to try it yourself. Like I say, not going to go too deep, but you get the general drift. I think straight and maybe 3 hits is a good setting. So ratchet effects with repeat type and repeat grid. The idea with move is that you hold a pad and you rotate either the screen knob or the move knob, and it moves the sound to different places on the grid. And obviously Micromove moves it a tiny bit left and right. I must confess I've had a bit of trouble with this one. I'm still kind of learning it, so I'm probably going to have to come back to you on this because the results are not exactly what I'm expecting. Suffice to say, it means moving the highlighted pad backwards and forwards along the grid. In the case of move, in the case of Micromove, moving it in tiny increments. But like I say, I'm a little bit unsure of that at the moment. Okay, so master volume and limiter. I did promise I'd talk about this. Obviously, it's set at 3.5, that's the overall volume of the entire machine, so I could drop down the entire thing either with the volume control or the screen knob. Obviously 0 dB is the standard setting, and if I press the lower button it becomes the limiter. I've got it set to side chain track 4. Let's just go into that. I'm going to have to press shift and view, go to limiter, click, and I'll go up to squishy, which is the one I normally use. a good thing to do here. I've got a kick drum here. If I play this, it's muted at the moment. So it's on track 4 of the samples. If I go into Shift and View, click limiter, and I bring this down to sidechain track 4. So with the limiter set on sidechain track 4, which is the kick drum, as I rotate the limiter to the left, increasing it, you'll hear this pumping effect. Every time the kick drum sounds, it ducks all the other sounds. It's really good that, isn't it? It does it in time beautifully if you've got a regular kick drum. So that's side chaining using the limiter. I love that, it's brilliant, isn't it? Let's lose that. Okay, so that is master volume and limiter. Tempo and swing with no track set, obviously. That controls the BPM, beats per minute, pretty obvious. And the lower value is track swing. Now, for this to work, I would need more hi-hats in the track because you won't hear any difference, but that's what track swing does. It makes it shuffle, but I haven't got anything to show that off at the moment. With the track selected, the top one turns into track speed and the lower one is track swing, and then without it selected, the top one is tempo. So there we are. We're going to stop this video today. You may have noticed my previous video ended rather abruptly, and that's because I was trying to do all the stuff I've done today in that video, and I got a bit lost, and I thought I'd do a bit more homework before I did this video, and I'm glad I did. So the only thing, like I say, I'm struggling on at the moment is the Move and Micromove. So I'll probably get in touch with Polyend. I have to say they're a brilliant company for that. If you ask them questions, sometimes it takes them 2 or 3 days to get back to you, but they always do. I'm sure I'll get the answer to my question on how to use Move and Micromove properly. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video and you think you'll get some value from it, give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. So that's it. You'll see me in my next video.